Hello everyone, this Seated Liberty and this Seated Liberty, which is an 1876 hole in it, are the two Seated Liberty coins I got. This one's so worn you can't make out a date, but it's definitely a Seated Liberty quarter. Now it looks like an S mint. Now, this bag is the quarters I got for the treasure chest challenge. I'm going to start separating them by type, and I'll pull the red book for any of them I think that might possibly have a chance to be a little bit better date ones. But most of these standing liberties are dateless. So we're just going to work on separating them real quick into little piles because they're probably not going to stack real well with a lot of them being worn a lot. Even though it's mostly dateless, I do like how this looks with the dirt or toning, whatever, on it. I can see an O. I'm going to assume it's a 1930 coin. There's a lot of these standing liberties because the jeweler guy, Daryl, pulled a whole bunch of them when I told him what I was looking for this. He found a whole bunch of them for me. He also found me both of these, and they were only $4 each when I bought them. So, Seated Liberty coin for $4, you can hardly not get that. We'll use the queen as a separator. There are a few Barbers in here, but not a lot. Of course, of these quarters, most of these standing liberties, being dateless, are not really that collectible and won't really have any extra value beyond their silver for the most part. But I went into, his name's Daryl, the jeweler guy, and said, yeah, I'm looking for dateless, as they advertise them on eBay, dateless, deplorable condition standing liberty quarters. And told him what I was buying them for. And he said, yeah, I probably got some. And he sold me a lot of these for as low as $4 and sometimes $4.50. And sometimes they were $5, depending on what the price of silver was when I got them. Whoops. Might be an extra Barber quarter in here than I thought because it's only had 6. And that's looking like more than 6 now. Not a whole lot more coins to go through yet. Whoops. Kind of cover the Barber quarters first and quickly since there's only a few. And you'd think you'd be able to get these Washingtons cheaper than what the standing liberties are, but because they made a lot more of them, and they were made for a lot longer time. But kind of got the piles. I'll kind of show you. Pile of Washingtons. It's at least a row, probably. Not a whole lot of Barbers. And a pretty good sized pile of standing liberties. So pull the book, which is the red book. And see if what Barbers might be interesting. I don't know if there was one in here. We'll look at the Seated Liberty one. It has a date. It's in 1876 and no mint mark. I'll lay this down and turn on this till I get to 1876, which is over there. $17,800,000. So that's not collectible by any way, shape, or form. Let's look at the Barbers. 1910, 1907. Oh, that one is nearly dateless. Looks like there might be a hint of a mint mark on there, and it kind of looks like an O. I want to say this might be in 1897, but the date's pretty well gone. That's in 1895. Its date's about gone. It is. Well, I think I see an S mint mark there. Very faint, hard to read. 1914 Denver and 1907 Philly. All right. 1896 S is the one that jumps out at me right away. 188,000. 97 is 542. I don't think any of these are those. There's 7 total. That might be 97.0. If it is, it's 1.4 million. We'll look at the date up as close as this will let me. It's very faint. At this kind of wear, even if it was, which is a slightly better date, it says $40 a good for. This is so far beyond good for, it's not going to be really anything to really consider. Let's see if there's any more 1900 ones. 1895, I mean. Those are all 1900s. So this one, and again, it's super worn. I think that might be in 1895. And S. 95S says 1.7 million. A good for it's a $20 coin according to this. A little bit better date then, but it's so worn. there won't be nothing really there. Let's see, 1907, 1907, 10, 14, and 1907. Well, there's three 1907s. I wonder if that means 1907 is kind of a big mintage year. And I'm seeing 7 million for Philly, 2.5 almost for Denver, and 4.5 for Ole Miss, and 1,360,000 for the S. The prices say a good 4.9, and then the S is a $10 coin. These are all really worn. That's a Philly, which is 7 million. Nothing real special. This one is, wow. I don't see. I think it's a 1907 Philly too. I can't see a mint mark on it. It's two of them, and then this one's scratched up real bad on the face. So even if it is a little bit better date, it's damaged, but it's a Philadelphia. It's too bad the front isn't as nice as this, because that's got good details left on it. Full rim, and the little spokes around the edge are all there, and details on the actual surface. That might put that one around good 8. I mean, very good 8, or maybe even fine 12. But the damage on the face, if it's fine 12, it's a $26 coin, according to this older uh, red book. It's a 2018. 1910 and 1914 D. Well, we'll have a quick look over here. 1910, 2,244,000, but not real expensive at that kind of grade until you get higher. 1914 D, 3 million. 1914 S would be the good one to get, or the 1913 S, 40,000 minted, and you can see that 1650 for the good 4. That would be a nice one. So the Barbers, it's pretty well wiped. They're also worn. They're not going to be worth much. So we'll put them in this small Ziploc bag to kind of keep them separate from the others. We'll set them there. Now we'll go on to seated or standing liberties. There was a Type 1 1916 in this. I'd eat my hat. Even at good 4, it's 2 million or $2,000 coin. Very unlikely. If I have a Type 1 in this, it'll probably be a 1917 something. But I can already tell you that these are all pretty much dateless. So what I'm going to do is look and see if there's any Type 1s in here still. I'll try to do it pretty quick, so I'm not wasting too much time messing with it. There's a lot of these in here. Quick way you tell Type 1 from Type 2. This is a Type 2. You see the 3 stars underneath the eagle. Well, if it doesn't have stars under the eagle, then it's a Type 1. So it's not going to take much time to go through these real quick and see that. I almost swear last night when I was separating all these coins, I thought I saw one that might be a Type 1 in here. I've gotten a couple of them, but well, lo and behold, there's a Type 1. There's no stars between the $quarter and the eagle. So we will set that one up here away from the others. And it proves that my eyes weren't playing tricks on me. Whether or not there's another one in here is hard to say. All right. This one's actually got pretty good detail left on it. It's probably a pre-25 because the date's totally gone, but it's still got a lot of detail on it. But unless it's got the date, it's not really going to be super collectible. Even the Type 1 without the date over there isn't real collectible, but it is an interesting piece. About halfway through these now, ish. There's another one where the detail's not too bad on it, but it's dateless, so it might be pre-25 as well. Because the date, the way they made the dates, they wore off a lot quicker on the pre-25s. Okay, here's one that is 1929 with the date, but I don't think there's anything real collectible in any of these. Most of them are dateless. There's probably at least $20 face of these, though. We'll turn this page to the list for standing liveries. Couple of them jump out real quick, if you're not counting error ones at least. 1921 and 1923S. There's no 1922s, which is interesting because they skipped a couple years, even though it was a short run. In terms of coins, they started in 1916 and 1930 was the last year they made them. I'll have to get tubes for these, but I went looking for some tubes and couldn't find any at one place. Another place I went to, they don't open on the week on Sunday, so I couldn't get them from them because I went today. My regular coin dealer doesn't have any quarters, tubes that is. Last four. All right. One Type 1, one more that is. I think I got three other ones that are Type 1s. This is probably 1917, but there's no way of telling. The date is just worn off. All right, that's a pretty good size group of flying eagles on the back of these. You can see the stacks are pretty good size. So we'll turn our attention to the Washington quarters. 32 D and S would be the big key date ones, without having any errors or nothing. A good 8, this red book says they should be. Here, I will show you. If I'll focus on this. $32 D and S Oh, come on. $175 a piece. A very good 8. Unlikely any of those will be 32D or S. But we'll put these in this bag here. I'm not going to worry about counting them right now. I just want to get on to the other quarters, the Washingtons. And we'll keep this separate with those because it's a different type. It's type 1, not type 2. We'll just show you that. That's how many standing Liberty quarters I got for this challenge, which is not a small amount. We'll turn our focus to other interesting years. $37S is a little bit lower mintage. It says extra fine 40 should be $35. That's the thing about Washington's. They have to be better conditioned than just good to really have much value. So we'll pull all these over here. Whoops, knock something off. It's okay, it didn't break. And then look through some more years on these real quick. The early estimate ones are a bit lower. 38, 39. 40S is pretty high. 40D is a low. So it varies as to what goes higher and lower. But the interesting ones would be the 38S or 39S if they were on there. They're not real super valuable though. And looks like most of the rest of these are all 10 million for the most part. 55D isn't. 3 million. 58 Philly is 6 million. 300,000, but the rest after that are all high mintage, common, very common. So really, we don't have too many target coins in this to really look for years wise, so we won't spend a whole lot of time. And most of these are worn enough, I don't think they would be extra fine by any chance. What was that? 55D and 58 Philadelphia. They're not really that big of a date. Well, several 64s and other 60s in this, which isn't too hard to believe because that one's back a little ways. Looks like someone put a magic marker on it. 64, 49, Denver, 10 million. Okay. 1940, Philadelphia, 35 million. Yeah, that's what's going to happen with a lot of these. They're going to be very common years. 44. There's a S Mint one. 42S. 19 million. 44 Phillies, 100 million. Yeah, there won't be any specialty about that. All right. This 1947 though doesn't have a whole lot of wear. It is a 47 Philadelphia, the 22 million. It might actually, well, this is extra fine 40. I don't know if it'd be that good. 41. $79 million. Oh, by the way, 64, 560 million, 64D, 704 million. They made a lot of 64 quarters. I mean, compared to 63, The Philadelphia 74, and then 135 million Denver's. So 44. Well, we just talked about that 104 million one. There's the 39. Philadelphia 33 million. So yeah, these are all pretty common. 1940 Philly is 35 million. That one's damaged. It's a 1960 Philadelphia. Only 30 million, but it's still pretty common, and it's beat up so bad. The 51D, 35 million. Another 64 Denver that might, I don't know, not a whole lot of extra value to it. 42. Okay, at 45 Denver, 12 million coins. That's 58 Philadelphia. Oh, that's a little bit lower mintage, 6 million, but so I did find one that's a little bit on the lower side of these later ones, but it's still very common. I mean, 6 million coins isn't like nothing. Another 64 Denver. What's this? 57 Denver. 77 million. This one's a little older, 45. Looks like someone took a black magic marker to it. It's a Philadelphia. 74 million. So all these, now this is 48S, and it's beat up real bad. 15 million. It's a very common one. I have a near probably AU one ish. Although 48S Mint State 60 says $9, so it's really not that special. But this is a little bit dated. The book, it's a few years old. 42S, 19 million. Well, whoever's out there, say hello so I can say hello to you. 54 Philly. 54 million. 63 Denver. The more common of the 63s with 135 million made. All right. 34. See, 34 is a bit older. It's a Philadelphia and it's quite worn. We'll go back and look how many 34s there were. All kinds, 31 million. It says a very good 8. That would be a $75 coin. Oh, wait, that's the double die. Sorry. Okay, it says light model and heavy model. I think that might be the heavy model. It's pretty clear. 49 Philly. 9 million. It's a little bit lower mintage, but nothing super rare. 1950 Philly, which does look pretty well, up into at least fine to very fine, maybe. Probably not extra fine though. And this book only grades the ones after the 32 through 35S. It rates down to very good, but on this, after that, all of them are extra fine coins, and I don't think this would be extra fine. But you can see there's probably at least a roll's worth of Washingtons in this. I'll have to find a Ziploc bag for them to kind of keep the quarters separated from. That ain't a roll, it's probably pretty close. So who's out there? Say hello in the chat so we can say hello to you. $8.75 in Washington's. A quick glance tells me none of them are real special. So all these would probably be valued at a little over the melt for, you know, whatever people would pay for a quarter. But I wouldn't sell them for anything less than about $5 each, probably. Eh, eh, that's the quarters pretty much. Out of all of them, the remarkable ones is the fact that I got at least four Type 1. They're probably 1917 ones. And that's how you tell there's no stars underneath the eagle. It's heavily worn. It does have a slight different appearance to the way that it looks compared to later dates, although it is quite worn. And then the dateless seated Liberty coin, and this one with the hole in it. I mean, getting these two seated Liberty coins for $4 a piece, I was like, well, that's a pretty easy decision. It's hard to get quarters for $4 anyway, so to be able to get seated ones for $4, even though one's dateless and the other one's really bad damaged, having the hole drilled in, I still thought for $4 I'd go ahead and buy that. And I can know that this one's at least 1866 or later, because before that they didn't have the ribbon over the eagle. No model above the eagle. Model above eagle right here starts in 1866. So that one has to be at least in 1866 or later. If it is in 1866, they didn't make a whole lot of these seated Liberty quarters here. I'll give you a look at the mintage in the 1860s if it'll focus for me. They're all in the tens of thousands until you get to that 1871, which is 118, and 1872, 1873. So most of them are really low minages. But this could also be, it's got stars on it. That means this is one of the little bit lower minages. Well, wait, they've kept the stars all the way up into the 1870s and 1880s. I thought they went to and got the United States of America on the front like the dimes did, but they didn't. They kept stars the whole time. So this could be anything from 1866 until 1891 when they stopped making them. And a few of these years, the 1877, 10 million, 1876 was 17 million. I can't tell you the date on this because it's worn out really bad right where the date is. But this one, I can see it's in 1876. And it's a 17 million made coin. There's no mint mark on it. That's the quarters. And I figured most of them were fairly common. But we will keep that Type 1 out to keep with these for now. And then we'll put these in a Ziploc bag if I can find one real quick that's bigger, because this little one ain't going to hold those. I think I have one over here somewhere. But it doesn't matter. I'll just use this one. This should do the trick. But we'll put these in this. Fairly tidy amount. And if I was a coin dealer, I'd probably give a price per coin and tape it shut and see if someone wanted to buy the whole bag. Or I might split it in 2 or 3 or something, who knows. This, I'd probably sell these all at one time too. They're all Barbers and there's only 7 of them. So if I put $35 on it, someone said, I gave you 34, I might be inclined to take it if I was selling. Of course, that all depends on the price of silver. But I think I'm going to go ahead and pull this down for the night because that's what I wanted to cover. Quarters. And tell you that you got a flea market type place in town and they have books, you might be able to find one of these cheap. And even though it's a few years old, I got it for $1. This book 91, $1. So I got it for $1. They're 18, 19 bucks or more at new. This is $15.95 then, but they went up some. All the miniatures, let me do this. All the miniatures, all the pictures of the coins, all the details about the coins, everything in here is still accurate except the price list. And price list is a little different but other than that, everything in this is the same every year except the price list pretty much. And they might add something of note in it in case somebody, like, I don't know, say someone found a vault bag full of a certain coin, and they made news, that might go in the front somewhere. But this is generally just a reference book, and its price guide is only a suggestion to give you an idea of what it ought to be worth, not what you will have to pay for or not have to pay for. Prices vary by dealer. They probably vary by when they got the coin and how they got it. Because if you say someone dropped that in change and you were a coin dealer and you noticed it, it's a 49 Washington quarter, you'd have only 25 cents into it. So you'd be like, well, I don't really have to make much to make a lot of money on this. I could sell it for 5 even and make a lot of money, in terms of how much you got in it. And that's really all you really need to do as a coin dealer. Make more when you sell it than what you got in it. And sell a lot. What I'm going to go ahead and do is put the Barbers in here and then put the Washingtons in here. Set this bag back where it was. And wish you all a good night, and we will see you next time.